Hello. All right, we are going to learn how to solve absolute value equations in this video. First of all, you need to recall what absolute value means. Absolute value means the distance from, like if I'm trying to figure out the absolute value, if the absolute value of x equals some number such as 2, we're looking for all of the numbers that are 2 units away from 0 on the number line. And so we can go in both the positive direction, that's 2 units away, 1, 2, but we can also go this way in the negative direction that is also 2 units away from the origin, 0. And so absolute value is a distance, so it's always going to be positive. So I want you to think about the solution to this first example here. If the absolute value, and these are the symbol, the symbol with the 2 bars means absolute value. If the absolute value of x, some number x, is equal to 12, what are the solutions that we could put in for x so that when we take its absolute value, we get 12, positive 12? So if you think about it, if x is 12, well, the absolute value of 12, over here, the absolute value of 12 is just equal to 12 because we're going to take the positive. It's already positive, so it doesn't even change it. But if we put negative 12 in for this x, what is the absolute value of negative 12? Well, it is also 12. So we have 2 values of x that would work to solve this inequality. So let's look at example 2 here. You have the absolute value of x equals 7, and then another one, absolute value of x equals negative 7. What are the solutions? Here, in this first part, if the absolute value of x equals 7, then we could put x equals 7 in for x, and its absolute value, the absolute value of 7 is 7. Or we can put in x equals negative 7, because if I throw a negative 7 in the absolute value bars, it is also equal to 7. So we have 2 solutions, x is 7 or negative 7. And that's going to be a key to solving these types of absolute value problems. The second one here, the second part, what values of x can we put in and take the absolute value and get a negative 7? Well, absolute value is always positive, so it is never going to equal negative 7 when we take an absolute value. You can't put anything in there. If you try to put 7 in for x, the absolute value of 7 is 7, not negative 7. If I put in negative 7, it is also 7. So this situation, there is no solution, and that can crop up from time to time, so pay attention to that. Okay, we're going to get a little bit harder as we go here, just a few more steps involved in solving the absolute value equations. Here we have the absolute value of w. The absolute value of w plus 3 is equal to 12. What you want to do is isolate the absolute value expression in the equation. So that is the starting point. So think about what you would do to do that. Get that absolute value on one side by itself. So we want to get rid of this 3, adding 3, so we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. Now we have the absolute value of w, because 3 minus 3 equals 0. So it's just the absolute value of w on the left side. 12 minus 3, and put that bar, is 9. And now what numbers can you put in for w? So when you take its absolute value, you get 9. And the solution would be w could either be 9 or w can equal negative 9. And if you want to check that by putting that back into the absolute value, we could do that. If I put in 9, the absolute value of 9 is 9 plus 3. Does it equal 12? And yes, it does, because this would just be 9 plus 3. And if I put a negative 9 in there, plus 3, does that equal 12? Well, this is just 9, because the absolute value of negative 9 is also 9 plus 3. does equal 12. So it works. All right, so you're going to have two pieces to your solution. Okay, so this next one, the absolute value is already isolated. We have the absolute value of x minus 8 on one side by itself equals 15. So instead of just a single value in there, we have a whole expression inside the absolute value bars. So what we're going to do, we're going to have two cases. One case, I'm going to write this over here, and I'm going to erase this right here. Okay, so we're going to have two cases. Case one, we can take this absolute value, that expression inside there, and this has to be equal to positive 15 in one case. Case two, this part inside here, x minus 8, could equal negative 15, because if I have a negative, if this equals negative 15, when you take its absolute value, it'll also be, the absolute value of it will be positive 15. So we have to solve for where x minus 8 equals both positive 15 and negative 15. So lucky us, we get two problems in one. So we're going to add 8 to solve for x, add 8, and I have x equals 15 plus 8, which is 23. That is one solution. Or if I add 8 to negative 15, I'm going to get x equals negative 15 plus 8 is negative 7. So x is 23 or x is negative 7. So let's just check it. So if I put in x equals 23, x minus, oops, I'm putting 23 in for x. Got myself mixed up there. 23 minus 8, does that equal positive 15? Well, 23 minus 8 is 15, and the absolute value of 15 is indeed 15. That checks out. Now let's put negative 7 in there. I'll do that over here. We're going to check x equals negative 7. Absolute value of negative 7 minus 8, does that equal positive 15? Well, the absolute value of negative 7 minus 8 is negative 15. And then when I take the absolute value, I do get a positive 15. All right, so I'm going to stop there for today, and we will do some more complicated equations, absolute value equations, in the next video.